news and notes. Reliever Ryan Pressly waived his no-trade clause and has been traded to the Chicago Cubs. Shout out to Bob Nightingale, who was the first one on it. I give Bob Nightingale a lot of crap on this podcast, but he was all over this trade, and it eventually did happen. Ryan Pressly, 36 years old, and comes with closer experience. He had 26 or more saves each season from 2021 through 2023, but the velocity and the skills are slowly declining. Scott, 2 questions. Will Ryan Pressly be the Cubs closer? And where did you wind up putting him in your reliever rankings?
So I'm not sure yet, and I haven't adjusted the rankings because I'm not sure yet. I think he had to waive the no-trade clause, so did they make him some kind of assurances that he would at least get a look in that role?
I think
that's pretty likely.
That.
Yeah. I've seen different takes. I've seen, and they've all been just kind of casual throwaway mentions, and I don't think anybody really knows yet. But I've seen people say, it'll probably still be Porter Hodge. I've seen people say, well, obviously it's going to be Ryan Pressly to start out. I'm not confident Ryan Pressly's going to hold on to the role. I guess I wouldn't be totally confident Porter Hodge would either. He was a rookie last year. He had some walk issues. There's a chance he just won't follow up on that season. So it's not like he's a sure thing. But you're just looking at last year's numbers. He was far more dominant than Pressly. Everything was down, as you mentioned, for Pressly with the velocity and the strikeout rate and the swinging strike rate, et cetera. He's had a lot of injuries over the years. I think I kind of feel like he's past his closing days. So even if he got the job to start out, if Hodge returns and is doing what he was doing as a rookie, it would eventually be him. So my ranking, if we do get some clarity that it looks like they're at least leaning toward Pressly to start out, my ranking of him will be fairly modest, probably behind Pete Fairbanks and Alexis Diaz.
Yeah, he's 20th for me. But I will say, you just look at Porter Hodge's minor league track record. I know he was dominant for 43 innings last year. They had to get someone else. Like, Porter Hodge may end up being just an awesome, awesome pitcher moving forward, but his minor league track record, for the most part, especially in the high minors, is really bad. And that's like, okay, he was a starter. They moved him to the bullpen in 2023. He was still bad. So maybe he figured it out. I'm not saying it's impossible, but like, I'm treating this as if Ryan Pressly's definitely opening the season as the closer, and he's not a dominant guy anymore, but if he's the same mid-threes guy he's been the past couple of years, I think he's probably good enough to hang on to it. Mm-hmm. And it gives them a little more flexibility to use Porter Hodge as a fireman. I think they'd be happy with that. But the reporting I've seen indicated that Ryan Pressly didn't want to leave the Astros. His family was happy there. And reading between the lines, it sounds like he had to get some assurances to agree to the no trade clause. So when the trade was announced or reported initially, my first thought was, if he agrees to the trade, it has to be that they agreed to make him the closer. That's what I'm treating it as.
Yeah, that's kind of how I ranked him too. And I have Ryan Pressly as my RP17, maybe a little bit too aggressive. I don't really want to be the high guy on Ryan Pressly, but just kind of assuming that he's going to be the closer. But I guess we'll wait to learn more there regarding the Cubs bullpen.